It is summertime fun right now. Can you believe it? Cue the Will Smith song, Summertime. If you haven't heard that song, download it. Think of me, think of Darian. We are back with another episode on the Trainwell podcast where we inspire you to move more, get stronger, and have fun. Today's episode, I should say, not message, I guess message, but today's episode is all around exercise variability. Darian and I were coming up with the title, going back and forth. She thinks her title is better than mine, which would be high velocity variability or something like that. So we're going to talk about what you can do today to shake up your routine with specific exercises.
Summertime and the living's easy. Except for it's never easy at the gym. I was just talking to a friend about this, how once you get really buff, every effort at the gym is a huge effort. And you just got to get in that mindset of like, we're about to do a huge effort here today, people. And that's cool.
Do you have air conditioning at your gym?
Yeah, but it's always humid. It's never turned down enough and it's always humid. Do you?
Yeah, we do. But I remember one time I went out and everybody was complaining and I was thinking, don't complain, just embrace it and move on. It'll be better tomorrow. Think about like in Africa, right? Like or the Middle East, like what the gym is like there. Like adapt. But anyways, we're not talking about that. We're going through a list here to see where our brains would go with quickly and on the spot finding really cool variances you can do in each of the movement patterns, which are push, pull, hinge, squats, loaded carries, some sort of full body move, and we'll do a core variance as well. So, D, what you got starting off with push?
Okay, push. A variation, once again, Joey doesn't love an overhead press, but a variation of an overhead press that I've been doing recently I wouldn't even say it's like more fun, but it's just like a nice way to mix it up is a Z press. So the Z press is when you are seated and pressing from a seated position. And I don't mean seated on a bench, I mean seated on the floor. So you're imagining like you're sitting down on the floor, tall posture, legs either straight out in front of you, or you'll see a lot of people in a straddle position, like legs open. And that's if you do struggle to sit up tall on the floor, opening the legs into more of a straddle position can be helpful with that. I just keep my legs together, straight out in front of me, tall posture, and then you're pressing from that position. And the reason that's a great variation is because you really have like no momentum to use. Like with a strict press, you're standing, you're like squeezing everything. Even if you're not bending your knees, you could still get a little bit of momentum, even if you're not trying. It's like an easier way to do a press. When you're sitting, there's like very little momentum to gather. So it's a very strict, very challenging press. Again, I think a lot of these could end up being more advanced type movements. I would say this is more advanced. We can maybe try, Joey, to get some that are like a less advanced variation, but still really fun. Because I want these to be fun. And I think a Z press is super fun and challenging. What's yours?
That's great. I love Z press. You can do it with barbell. It's really hard to set up with a barbell. Like you would need like safety racks or J locks to set it up. But you can do it with a kettlebell. You can do it with dumbbells, obviously. But there's always regression. Like instead of sitting on the floor, if you don't have the mobility, you can just sit on like a 3-inch box. There's always ways you can make the movement fit. But I got with the sticking around with overhead press. It's not that I like overhead press. I don't like how everyone thinks that, or you think that. Overhead, you need to earn the right to overhead press. By the way, if we don't get through all major movement patterns today, next week we will follow up with that. But it's called, I got an earthquake push-up for you for a horizontal push, and I got an earthquake overhead press you can do. So let's say you're doing a barbell. I'm going to find all these progressions, regressions of the exercise, and I'm going to throw in the show notes. So listeners, if you're just totally rattled, just look at the show notes and you can see what I'm talking about. But basically like a barbell, you take a barbell overhead press, right? But on each side, this is hard to set up, but you take 2 bands and you choke them around each end of the barbell, and then you throw a weight on the bands. So it looks like this kind of oscillating thing on each side. It looks like something in like Jungle Book or Lion King, like
Seesaw.
Rafiki stick. But anyways, yeah, like a seesaw. So you're pressing up, but on either side you got these bands and weights, like kind of teeter tottering back and forth. That will light up your proprioceptors and your stabilizers more than anything. So you can just look it up. There's multiple names, but I call it an earthquake overhead press. The other one I'm thinking of is an earthquake push-up. So you take another band, and what I mean is like an assisted pull-up band, and you go to a squat rack and you spread it out on either side of the J hook. So it's like it can like trip you. It's like a trip line, right? And you put your hands on the band and you do a push up, and there's a lot of stability that's demanded as it's earthquaking underneath you. So those are my two that you can easily do with bands.
Those are fun. I want to do the earthquake push up. I really want to do that. Maybe I'll do that next time. That one could get embarrassing quick, but I'm going to go for it. What's our next movement pattern, Joey?
We're going over pull. So tell you what, I'm gonna do. Well, you had a good. We were just talking about this exercise that Darren was showing me beforehand. So you go first with it, although it's kind of a pull slash core. Walk us through it.
Yeah, the reason, so I do pull ups at least twice a week at the gym. I will say, I know that a lot of people struggle with pull ups. It's a very challenging movement to get, but pull ups is one of my strongest movements, and I love doing them. So I always want to do them. But after doing them a lot, you're kind of always looking for ways to like, okay, what's a variation on a pull up that I could do? So one of the ones I've been liking recently, and I feel like I mentioned this in one of our episodes, but you pull up to, standard range of motion, chin over the bar. And then before you lower all the way down, you stop at a 90-degree lock off, which means you're going to hold yourself underneath the bar with the elbow bent at 90 degrees and the elbow right in front of the shoulder. And you want to drop your shoulders down so they're not, shrugging up through your ears. And then you do a knee raise. So you could do a double knee raise, or you could do alternating knee raises. I've done both. My goodness, the amount of strength in the back, the biceps, the lower abdominal region, so intense. I can only do a few reps in a row. So I'll pull up, lock off, maybe 8 knee raises, lower, and then again, pull up, lock off, knee raises, lower. Maybe if I have it in me, I'll do a third rep. But it is so intense. It's so fun. My only, if you're going to try it, you don't have to do it with the pull-up. You can just jump to the lock-off position and try it from there. Make sure you're in hollow body at the bottom when you're lowering your knees down. Keep the hips tucked under, and like your feet should be slightly in front of you, so you're maintaining that hollow body position. That's mine right now. Love it.
Yeah, I'll link hollow body because that's really good to know. That's very hard to do in a pull up or even in a push up. If you don't know what hollow body is, you can just watch the video, but it's like this banana position. A lot of people don't hollow body, and it's very hard to articulate. That was good. That's a good vertical overhead pull. I'll give us two because one's more advanced, one's easier. Let's start with the easier one first. Okay, a dumbbell chest supported row. Right? You know what that is? So like 45 degree or like 30 degree, you can play with the incline, but you're laying on prone on the bench and you're doing dumbbell row.
Prone,
Prone. Yeah.
face down.
Yeah.
For anyone who's
Yeah. Supine is on your back face up, but you're laying face down, belly down on the bench, and you're rowing with 2 dumbbells. But here's a cool little spice you can add to it. So both arms are extended. You're laying over the bench. I want you to go right arm for 1 rep. Back down, left arm for 1 rep, back down, and then both arms for 1 rep. And then I want you to hold for 1 second. And then I want you to repeat the sequence. Go 2 right, 2 reps on the right, 2 reps on the left, 2 reps together, and then hold for 2 seconds. And then I want you to try to work your way up to 6, 7, 8 if you're an all-star. That is a brutal finisher. So by the 8th round, you're doing 8 reps on the right, 8 reps on the left, 8 reps together. That last rep, you're holding 8. The more advanced one is called a plate pull. Now, this is hard to set up. You can do it on a bench press, okay? But what you're going to do is you're going to lay face down on a bench press machine or a bench press setup, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to take a plate and you're going to slide it under the bench. and like a weight plate, like a 25 or a 45 or a 35. But you lay face down and you grab the plate and you pull it up so it makes contact with the bench. And you're just going to isometrically squeeze, which is just holding it, and you're going to pull it as hard as you possibly can. It's not going to travel that far depending on, the hardware underneath the bench. Like it may be 2 inches, it may be 6 inches, it may be almost to your chest, but you're just pulling it straight up, and try to hold that for like 30, 45 seconds with max tension. That is a great finisher you can do for a horizontal pulling pattern. Again, it's a little more advanced to set up.
I like both of those. Do you ever do a bat wing row?
Yeah, Batwing. That was invented by Dan John. Dan John.
I do like a good bat wing row, and I don't do them enough. These are great. I'm getting a lot of ideas. Okay, our next movement pattern, what should we move on to? Squat? Squat variation?
Yeah, squat variation.
Okay, you go first this time.
Okay, let's keep it simple. So nothing is better than what I think than a goblet squat, because like most people, I can't speak for most people, but a barbell back squat, it can just tear up the low back. It's a
Hmm.
little bit riskier. You have to be very technically proficient. Goblet squats, you can pretty much start almost like anybody at, right? But here's my rep scheme. Here's a cool way you can spice up your goblet squat. And I like the value of what we call 1.5 reps. So basically what it is you get your goblet squat, which is the dumbbell chest level, and it's vertical ideally. You can hold it horizontal. You can do this with a kettlebell as well. But very simply, you're going to go all the way down as far as you can. So let's just say it's full range, hips below knees. And then you're going to come up only halfway, pause, and then go back down to full range in the bottom of the squat, and then back up. That's going to be 1 rep. Same thing for rep 2, all the way down, halfway up, all the way down, all the way up. If you do that for your last set, or like your little your little finisher, that's a great way to spice up your squatting pattern. And it's very joint friendly. You're limited by the weight you can do, so you're not going to overload yourself with unneeded stress.
I do love a 1.5 squat variation. I think it's so fun. Now, Joey, are we going to count a Cossack squat as a squat variation?
Yeah, we can totally do it. Let's just say knee dominant. Like, I guess we can get into single leg.
Okay. Now there's like 1,000 ways you can do a Cossack squat. I'm obsessed with Cossack squats. And again, this is one of those movements that if you've never done it, you're not going to be able to do it out of the gate. You got to work up to full range of motion, but it's worthy of your time. I'm obsessed with this movement. There is nothing that works your quads more, in my opinion. This is one of like a very high intense quad exercise. Start your feet in a wide stance. Hold. Now, if you're brand new to Cossack squats, you're going to do this without weight. However, if you do struggle with balance, you might want to add a weight, a light weight, just to counterbalance you a little bit. But essentially, you're going to start in a wide stance, and then you're going to shift your hips to one side and send them down as low as you can maintain your heels staying on the floor. And when you look at that one side, it should look like half of a squat. So if you were to do a squat and just look at one leg, that's how your Cossack squat should look on one leg. The other leg is straight out to the side, straight leg. Now, you could do it with your foot flat on the ground, and I actually do both. So like my toes are forward, my foot's flat on the ground, or you could rotate it up to externally rotate the hip and get that hip rotation in there. I literally do both in one move, where I start with the foot down and then rotate it up at the bottom so I can get the range of motion in my hip as well. Now, if you know what a Cossack squat is and you've been practicing them, there's a few variations you can do where you can hold a kettlebell to one side and just work on one side. So you're doing this kind of single rack Cossack squat. You can slide across in your Cossack squat. You can do an up and over Cossack squat. One variation I like is where I slide across and then I stand up. And then I go back down to that side, slide across to the other side, stand up, go back down to that side. This is a hard one to explain, I'm realizing as I'm explaining it. But Joey said he's going to link these. So you're going to see these different. You're going to see what a Cossack squat is. And then maybe you'll understand. Go back and listen to this part and you'll understand what I'm saying with all these variations. But Cossack squat variation, love it. It's great for mobility too.
So good. I try to do that because I never train, like a lateral lunge. And it's a staple in the warm-ups, but I have to use rings still because I lose the mobility, especially with sitting so much. So I really need to assist that, or you can use a TRX or a door frame or not.
Now, Joey, you know what is a really fun variation of a Cossack squat that eventually I'm going to challenge you. I'm challenging you right now to get to this. What I will sometimes do is get down into my Cossack squat and then I will lower my butt to the floor and then
Oh
pop
yeah.
back up and slide across and then do that on the other side.
I've tried it. I always roll back. The closest I get is like barely touching the fabric of my butt to like, or my fabric of my shorts to the, I'm not doing these naked, but I get that low and then I come back up.
Oh my God. Okay, those are squats.
Yeah, now
Any
we got hinge. I mean, we can go for hours on the squat. Maybe we can do that another time. But let's move on to our hinge. So, Darren, you said you have a cool swing variation, which is a kettlebell
Oh
swing
yeah.
hip hinge ballistic.
Okay.
What we got for hinge?
Yeah, okay, let's do it. So I now I don't know, Joey. You're gonna. I want you to tell me what you think of this. So I actually think if you are new to kettlebell swings, this could actually be a great variation for you. I think some would argue this is a more advanced variation, but I actually think it trains the swing position really well. So this is called a dead stop swing, and it's so nice because it flows really well. It's not. You get an opportunity to reset your form every single rep. And it feels very graceful if you do it right. So, what you're gonna do is you're gonna set the kettlebell on the floor and you're gonna take a step back. So, like arm's length away. So, you're holding onto the kettlebell, take a step back, arm's length away in your hinge position. But it's a fairly low hinge. You want your butt way back. You still got to bend in the knees. Your chest is up nice and tall. What you're going to do is you're going to pull that kettlebell back. So you're going to pull it up and back towards the hips so the chest is lifting into a swing, then back down into your hinge and then back to the floor. So it's floor, hips, swing out front, back to the hips, back to the floor every single rep. So it's like every rep you have a dead stop in between and you have to reinitiate that movement. I think where it gets sticky for people is they'll pull too low on the initial pull and their back will round or their hips will jut up. So that's the only thing to caution is you want to make sure you're pulling up and back into the hips and not just pulling straight back to where your chest is low and your back is rounded. But have you done a dead stop swing?
Yeah, that's how they taught us in RKC. RKC
Nice.
is like the first national / worldwide kettlebell certification from Pavel, and that's how we started with we started with bridges, of course, as the first progression to hinge, and we worked up. But yeah, I remember when we started getting in ballistics, the dead stop swing and then the towel swing was a great way to learn the hip hinge pattern. The towel swing because it gives you more freedom of range to play with your hip hinge specific to your anatomy. But yeah, I really like that. A good cue that I always liked is hike the football up to high crotch and then back down. And then you can go hip high at the crotch and actually do a swing and then back down. And then the point I want to make here, though, is that when you know how you take a step back from that swing in your setup, Darian, that's how
Mm-hmm.
every kettlebell swing should start. Every single one. Do not start it with a behind you, and do not start like up in the hang position or like you lift the kettlebell up and then you start getting some momentum, and then you're swinging. It should always start on the ground and stop on the ground. I'm gonna go with a single leg variation here for hinging, and that's gonna be very simply a single leg RDL, and you can YouTube that or just look at the link, obviously. But I want people to learn to do these correctly. And you basically do a single leg RDL, but you start with your back foot on a box or on a bench, preferably not higher than your knee height. If it's too high, it's going to arch your back, so you have to modify based on your height. But you start with that back foot kickstanded in this single leg RDL position, right? And the challenge is you let's just start with no weight. You just lift that back leg up without moving anything. You keep your spinal alignment, you keep your abs braced in, all that. And the RDL should just look beautiful for 30 seconds. What you can spice this up with is you can put one kettlebell in one hand or one dumbbell in one hand. You lift that back foot up and then you just switch hands, left hand to right hand, balance, stabilize, back to left hand, balance, stabilize, balance, right hand, stabilize. And that is a phenomenal teaching skill to really help you own that position against fatigue across time with that variance or pulse production when you switch hands. Pulse production is like how well can you react to quick movements and how quick can you stabilize.
So you're switching the weight from hand to hand after every rep, like at the top?
Yeah, so you're basically holding your leg there the whole time, so you're not moving through space. You're holding that position, and then you're just moving the weight between the right and left, right and left. You're not actually going through a single leg RDL.
Okay, I want after we're done recording, I want you to show me
Okay.
that movement. There's a box there.
We're working on video, by the way. We will have video to you hopefully sooner rather than later, so you all can watch us hooligans live.
Yeah, because we're doing a lot of movements over here, like moving our arms and legs all around, and you guys can't even see it while we're trying to explain these movements. We're
It
goofy.
looks like my kinesiology final. I'll never forget that in class. You look
Everyone's
around.
moving around.
Yeah, and it's all silent still. It's funny.
That's funny. Okay, so what haven't we done yet? We're doing a carry.
Yeah, I got a good one for carry. So really simple, okay? Everyone knows what a farmer's carry is. Does everyone know what a single arm farmer carry is, or a suitcase carry, as I call it, right? So here's the variation on suitcase carry. Very, very simple. One hand. You got to get a heavy enough weight, though. Okay, so start with at least, around, if you're super new to training, like 15% of your body weight in one hand. But if you can even do up to 25% as a relative starting point, a really game changer is when you do half your body weight in the hand. But here's what you do. You simply grab a weight. You make sure that, let's say it's in the left hand, you cannot be touching the side of your body. Okay, there has to be daylight between your hand, the weight, and then your side. The second it touches your body, game over, because your obliques and QL on the other side just turn off. But very simply, you're going to do a slow motion carry. You're going to take 5 to 7 seconds per step in that walk. Okay, so you're just walking, but you're lifting your left leg up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then left leg down. And you're lifting your right leg up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 5 to 7 seconds per step at around 30 to 60 seconds per arm. And then you rest for a little bit and then you switch. When you switch, you'll realize like how great of a workout you did with that one side. What I would usually have people do is do the left side, slow motion for 30 seconds, right? And then just walk around without holding the weight. And you can just feel the little tiny muscles that just got worked out. And it gives you a sense of, wow, like you didn't even know muscles you had there. So try that out, slow motion suitcase carry.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so tedious, but I'll try it. I'll do it. Okay, here's mine. I love like any version of like a staggered carry. So one that I really like is an overhead on one side and a suitcase on the other. So the way you get into that is you're going to lift your weight overhead first, and then you're going to drop back into a deadlift position to pick up your other side. So, and you can even mix the weights here. They don't have to be the same weight. Do something lighter overhead, do something heavier in your suitcase carry. So walk whatever down and back, switch the sides down and back. If you can't go overhead for that, do a front rack. So just put it a single rack, put the weight on the shoulder in front of you, and then do the suitcase carry on the other side. That's always a good one. Any staggered variation is going to be great.
Yeah, you can do the same thing for Bulgarian split squats I was talking to you about before
Yes,
or like a lunge or something like
or
that.
squat, or just a squat. That's
Yeah,
a
or a
real tough
squat.
variation. Any staggered movement.
There is, back to the band analogy I had with the pressing pattern, you can do a earthquake banded suitcase walk where you're basically holding the band and the band has a kettlebell underneath it, and as you walk you're getting little variances in that movement. I'll link that as well. I've been writing all these exercises down as we go over them, so I have a library. Full body or core? What do you think?
Let's just do a full body. Let's each do a full body like variation. I mean, all of these are compound movements, so they really are multiple joint exercises anyway. But what are you thinking for a full body, Joey?
Well, my go-to is going to be a Turkish get-up.
Yeah.
Um, it is very hard to learn. I think the first place you start to learn it is with a shoe, okay? So you can look at the link for a get-up. I'll send a good one in there that teaches you all 7 steps. Don't do it the shortcutted way. Go through all 7 steps. But you basically start with an empty shoe, and I'll throw that in the link. But here's the spice it up. I want you to do a upside down or bottoms up kettlebell during the movement. So you lay on your ground. Let's say we're doing the right hand, bottoms up, Turkish get up. Start very light because now you're really challenging alignment under load against fatigue across time. So bottoms up, Turkish get up, right hand, left hand. Start light and then work up reasonably because it's kind of a liability having that weight overhead.
Now that was your beginner variation, Joey. A bottoms up is so hard.
No, no. The beginner is the shoe. Because when you can do it with a shoe, you can do it with weights. Kind of like dodgeball, you know.
Okay, now what was that thing where like didn't was it strongmen or I can't remember. They had to do a Turkish get up with 100 pound barbell to be able to progress to do anything else or something like that. What was that? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't. It sounds like the. Are you talking about the Beast Challenge or the Iron Maiden Challenge?
I don't know. You got to look it up because I felt like this would be something you would know because it's like fitness history and I feel like you're a fitness history buff.
I never heard of that, but barbell Turkish get up. I've only done a few, like maybe twice in my life, and they're hard.
Hard. I did it with a 15-pound barbell, one of the light beginner barbells. And that was very hard. My little baby hands, you know? It was hard to hold on to that bar.
There's people that can do it with humans. Like I've never seen that live, but yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Now, I don't know. I'm struggling with my full body variation because I feel like so many of these moves we talked about are full body moves. And I think, actually, you know what I would say? I do, this isn't going to be totally full body, but I think if you can, put handstands in your fitness practice to some extent. There has never been anything that I have done that has made my shoulders stronger than doing handstand variations. It's a great skill to do at the end of your workouts, I think. If you want to do skill work, do it at the end of your workout. A lot of people will do it at the beginning, but it's nice to do it at the end because you got the blood flowing, you're really warm, you're more mobile. And I think it's just fun to do some skill work. So do some handstand variations. Do some wall walk-ups where you're going nose and toes to the wall. That's always fun. And like see if you can hold there, build up to a hold. Do some kick-ups, do some 2-foot kick-ups, do some shoulder taps. So if you get more advanced, you're in your handstand, imagine you're holding your hands and you tap same hand, same shoulder. So left hand reaches up to touch left shoulder and then left, almost mimicking handstand walks. And then start building up to your handstand walks. That's a skill I got really good at when I was in my 20s and is always like a fun party trick to
Yeah, I
bust.
can't do that. Like when you go to shoulder taps, like the second I do that, I fall. I should.
Are you doing opposites or same, Joey? Are you doing same shoulder? I feel like it's easier with same shoulder.
No, I tried opposite. I didn't even think about doing same. That's a good.
Do
It's a
it
good
right
thought.
now. Right
I got
now.
a
Turn
ton of.
upside
I
down.
got. I got a ton of wall space right here too. Uh, if you have a sled, that is like we used to do sled complexes in our gym. But that's a little more nuanced. Like you would do a 10-yard sled push, then a 10-yard sled drag, then a 10-yard sled power pull, and then a 10-yard sled backwards, like all in one setting. But usually people have battle ropes, so I want to give everybody a really cool battle rope complex. So you go to battle ropes, you're gonna do 10, you're gonna do a ladder. So 10 reps of each, 8 reps of each, 6 reps, 4 reps, 2 reps. You're going to start with doubles. So two arms at the same time. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you're going to do 10 alternating, 10 each side. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Then you're going to do 10 snakes, which is like this S thing. Shh. Then you're going to do 10 side to sides where you're going left, right, left, right, left, right. And then you're going to finish with overhead slams. So you're going to go overhead, you're going to jump, and then you're going to slam it down. Overhead, jump, slam it down. Repeat that sequence 10, 8, 6, 4, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2 reps each. And then that should be a great finisher for you.
Dang, that sounds so hard. Battle ropes are so challenging.
Yeah, sequencing like that, you'll be gassed. And they work everything. They work your biceps, they work your shoulders, your quads are in the isometric state. So that's all we got for spicing up the workouts. How do you think we did, D?
I think we did great. I'm excited to post this one. Hopefully, you get some fun ideas if you've been working out for a while and you need to mix it up. Variety is the spice of life, as they say.
But even saying all these cool, like fun nuance things, you got to earn them, baby. Like, do not think that the basic movements override these cool sexier variances. Like, do the basic stuff first. I don't care how boring your program is. There's nothing boring about results. Yes, feel free to throw in a little bit of spice, but earn it. Like, don't do it. Don't change it every single week to week to week. That's going to set you up for failure. So, be satisfied with the boring.
Love it. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Check the show notes not only for a link to try Trainwell out for free for 14 days, but also to check out the links that Joey's going to post so you can get a little bit of a visual of some of these exercises.
I like how she said Joey's going to post. She's already delegating, folks. Share the show with your friends, your loved ones.
Joey said he would post them, so he's going to post them, everyone. Okay, we'll see you next time.
Share the show, folks. Adios.
Bye.